Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all safe and well. Welcome to Year 4 Maths. We hope you've had a lovely weekend. The weather has improved. It's been quite a nice weekend. Hopefully it'll stay nice during the course of the week for you. We're going to start this morning with our warm-up. As usual, we have 4 questions. Normally we have triangles and squares. Today I've left the triangles and squares off. I want you to decide whether or not these questions are questions you could do in your head, or whether or not you need to use a pencil and paper. As always, try and get close to 5 minutes as you possibly can. Don't worry if you run over slightly, just do your best. And at the end, when you're ready for me to go through it, then press play. Okay, so press pause when you're working, press play when you're ready. Okay, the first question this morning, 7 times 8. Straightforward fluency times table question. If you know your 8 times table, it's easy. This is a mental strategy question. So method 1, know your 8 times table. 7 8s we know are 56. But method 2, you know, some of us are not great at our 8 times table, not yet anyway. So what could we use? Well, one way that I would think about doing it would be making sure I know my 4 times table. And if I know my 4 times table and I can double numbers, then I can work out my 8 times table. So here, for example, I would say, what's 7 times 4? Well, if I know that 7 4s are 28, okay, then I can double it up. 28 doubled makes 56. You know, if I know my 4 times table and I can double it up, I can get my 8 times table. So, for example, 2 4s are 8. Well, 2 8s would be 16. And that's the same principle for this. Second question this morning is 658 plus 287. Now, some of you might be whiz kids and been able to do this in your head. However, old men like myself would have used a pencil and paper, and we would have gone for probably, if I could, column addition. That's my most efficient method. So the abstract method of column addition. And if I work it through, 8 plus 7 would be 15, but I would need to carry the 10 across into the tens column. 8 plus 5 would be 13, and then I have to add that 1, which would be 14, and again I need to carry the 10 across. And then 6 plus 2 is 8, and 1 would be 9. So my answer would be 945. Method 2, I would use the way we've been looking at things there, partitioning, easiest way, okay, if you're not going to use column. So partition the numbers up, you can see I've done that here, and then I add the hundreds together first. So 600 and 200 would be 800. 50 plus 80 would be 130, and then 8 add 7 would be 15. And then I would need to recombine the numbers, which would give me 945, and I can see that that's the same number as the abstract method there, so I know that I'm in the right ballpark, that I've got the answer correct. Third question, 528 divided by 8. Again, I would be thinking that this would be pencil and paper method. And the first method I would use, the most efficient method, might be bus stop, short division. So I would set my bus stop up ready to go. 528 divided by 8. How many 8s are in 528? And then I would work my way across. So 8s into 5 don't go, so I put a 0 up here. I then need to add make these 2 digits here into one number. So 8s into 52 would be 6. Now 6 8s we know are 48. So I've got 4 left over, remainders, which I need to put into or next to the 8 there. So I make 48. 8s into 48 are 6. So you can see that my answer would be 66. It's possible you could use partitioning. You could chunk up the number. You could make chunks out of the number, make it a bit more manageable to deal with. So what I've decided to do is take chunks of 80 out of this number, out of 528. And I've chosen chunks of 80 to begin with because I know that 10 8s are 80, so it just makes life a bit easier. And what I need to do is find out how many chunks of 80 I can take out of 528. And then the last number at the bottom here is 48. So 80 divided by 8 is 10. And I do that for every single chunk of 80. And then at the bottom here, 48 divided by 8 is 6. Now, when I'm finished with that, and I'm happy that I've done this, then I need to add all those numbers together, and that gives me 66. And you can see then I've got the same answer as the abstract. But could I have made these answers more efficient? What could I have done to make it more efficient? Well, you could have started putting some of these chunks together to make bigger numbers so that you have less division to deal with. So you could put 2 lots of 80 together, which would be 160. You could have put, if you really wanted to do, you could put 4 lots of 80 together, which would be 320 divided by 8, which would be 40. So you can easily start making bigger chunks if you wanted to. Okay, the last question today, 34 plus 45. This one is more of a mental strategy question. Hopefully you could better do this without doing pencil and paper. If you needed to, you could. But what we could be doing here is thinking about making sure we partition the numbers up. So I've got here 34 would be 30 and 4. And I've got 45 would be 40 and 5. So what I would try and do is add the 2 tens together. So 30 plus 40 would be 70. And then the 2 units together, 4 plus 5 would be 9. If I recombine the numbers, 70 add 9 would give me 79. And in my head, that's what I'd be thinking about to try and make this an easy question for me to do without having to get my pencil and paper out. Okay, this morning's learning intention is to be able to solve word problems using bar models. Okay, and our star words this morning, as always, because we're dealing with money, it's decimal, pounds, tenth. Now we've added in bar model this morning. We've also got hundredth, pence. I've put whole in, and we've got problem there this morning. So lots of the words are still the same, words that we've been using over the whole unit of money, but we've added a couple extras in this morning. Okay, our in focus task this morning, we've got 2 children here that are possibly going to a party, and they've got a present between them. Now the present has got a price on it. And what we've got to do, the question is that the 2 children share the cost of the gift for a friend. How much do each of them pay? Now what I want you to do is to think about, to begin with, why does this look easy? And what is missing? What could be different about this answer, about the answer to this question? I want you to press pause, and I want you to think about these questions. Why does it, on the face of it, why does this look easy? And what could be missing? And what could be different? Press pause now. Okay, well, why does it look easy? Well, it looks like it would be a simple division by 2, half the price, and that's the amount that they pay each. However, the question doesn't actually tell you that they paid equal amounts. It doesn't tell you that they split the cost equally. One of them might have more money than the other. And that's what could be different with this problem. So we're going to be looking this morning at different ways that we could work out who paid what. Okay, let's learn. So on the graphic here, you can see £16.20, and they're showing you on the graphic here what would happen if both of them paid the same amount of money. Okay, so if we wanted to here, that you can see that if they're paying the same amount of money, then they are dividing it equally, splitting it equally into 2 equal pieces. Now, if we wanted to do that, then we'd be thinking about, okay, how do we split this amount of money into 2 pieces? So on the right hand side here, we can see that if we partition it, we've got £16 and we've got 20 pence. Okay. Underneath here, it's showing you what you would need to do. So 16 divided by 2 equals 8. 20 divided by 2 equals 10. This would mean that they would all get, or equally, would all have to pay, if we recombine that, £8.10 each. Just remember, when you are dealing with this particular question, 2 equal chunks. It shows you, the bar model shows you that they're paying the same amount. Okay, same amount of money, so £16.20, but this time we're saying that one of them is going to be paying twice as much as the other. Okay, now you can see if we were to set this out onto the bar model here, that we've got, this is showing that one child is going to be paying twice as much. Okay, there's still the same amount of money to be split, as you can see, £16.20. And what we do have here are 1, 2, 3 parts. If one is going to be paying twice as much than the other, then we need to divide or split that number into 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. Now again, we could partition if we wanted to. Okay, and here we've partitioned £16.20 into £15 and £1.20. So £15 divided by 3 would be £5, and £1.20 divided by 3 would be 40 pence. If we recombine the number, then each of these parts here, each of these chunks, is going to be worth £5 and 40 pence. So this child here will be paying £5 and 40 pence. This child here will be paying 2 lots of that. So it would be £10 and 80 pence. We can always check our answer, because if we wanted to, we could add all of these back up. So £10 and 80 plus £5 40, just to check that we still have £16.20 as our answer. But you can see the most important thing from this is that there are 3 parts to this bar model. And this part here would be twice as big as this part here. Okay, we're still working on the same amount, £16.20, but this time, this child here is going to pay 4 times as much as this child here. Okay, 4 times as much. Now you can see the bar model is showing you 1, 2, 3, 4 times as much as this one here, but we need to divide this amount of money into 5 pieces. Okay, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So £16.20 divided by 5. Okay, so again, what I would be doing is breaking up this into 2 chunks. I would have, I would probably go with £15 and £1.20 again. And I'd be saying, okay, 15 divided by 5 would be 3. 15 divided by 5 would be £3. And then the second part, £1.20 divided by 5 would be 24 pence. So each of these chunks is worth £3.24. That's how much this one would be, and this one would be then 4 times that. But please remember, when you're looking for 4 times as big, you don't fall into the trap of dividing the number, total number, by 4. You need to divide it by 5. You need to set it out as a bar model, because it will show you how many pieces you need to divide it up into. Okay, now it's your turn. Using bar modeling, can you solve the problems here? Okay, now I know that lots of you will be able to do this in your head. I know lots of you will be able to do this without having to do a bar model. but I just want you to get used to using this principle. Okay, so same as before, there are two children. There is a present that costs £12. What we want you to do is to work out what they'd each pay if they were dividing it equally, what they would each pay if one was paying twice as much as the other, and then what they would each pay if one was paying 3 times as much as the other. Quick reminder, look at the number of pieces in the bar model. That will tell you what you need to divide your price by. Okay, so press pause while you're just working these out and press play when you're ready to start again. Please feel free to jot down and make small drawings of your bar models. It will really help you. Okay, welcome back. How did you get on with this then? So let's have a look at some of these answers here. And I did put at the top there, remember it's all about the number of parts in the bar model. So if we had to divide them equally into 2 piles, then it would be 12, because that's your total price, divided by 2, which will be £6. The second one, which is twice, one child is paying twice as much as the other, I've got here 12 divided by 3. Now, why would I have divided it by 3? Because there would be 3 parts in that model. 1, 2, 3. So 12 divided by 3 would be £4. Okay. Now we know then that this child here would have spent or paid £4, but this child up here would have paid twice as much. So it would have been £4, £8. 8 is twice as much as 4. And the last one down here is one child here is paying 3 times as much as the other child. I know that I've got to divide by 4 because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to my model, my bar model. So 12 divided by 4 easily is 3. So this child here would have paid £3 towards the present. This child here would have paid 3, 6, £9 towards the cost of the present. And we know that that's got to be correct because if we add the two together, we've got 9 plus 3 equals 12. Straightforward, really. You've just got to remember how many parts you need to divide by for your bar model. Okay? Okay, how about these questions here? Now you can see we've got here a red bowl and a green bowl, and in total it costs £1.20 for all of these products here. A big question here is how, what value is in each bowl. Now down here it says that there's twice as much in the red bowl than there is in the green bowl. This one is saying that there are 3 times as much in the red bowl than in the green bowl. And the bottom here it says that the red bowl, there's a quarter of what's in the green bowl. So I want you to have a little go at this and think, what is trickier about the last part? Why is it different from what we've talked about so far? Press pause while you're having a little think, maybe jotting down some bar models, and then press play when you're ready for us to talk about it. Okay, welcome back. Okay, the first one then, what we need to do, we know it's £1.20 in total. We need to divide it by 3 because there are 3 parts to the bar model. So each part is going to be worth 40p. In the green bowl, you'd have 40p. In the red bowl, you'd have 80p. The second one here, we've got to divide it by 4 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to the bar model. So £1.20 divided by 4 means that each part of the bar model is worth 30p. So in the green bowl, we would have had 30p. And in the red bowl, we would have had 90p, 30, 60, 90p. Now the last question was a little trickier. And it says there that in the red bowl, there's 1/4 of what's in the green bowl. Okay. Now, in that case, it's basically saying the same thing that there was 4 times as much in the green bowl than there is in the red bowl. So there's 1/4 of the amount. It's the same as saying there are 4 times as much, or there is 4 times as much in here as there is in here. So in that case, if I was going to set up a bar model, I would need to have 1 part red and I need to have 4 parts green. That means that if I've got 4 parts green and 1 part red, I've got 5 parts in total. So I would need to divide £1.20 by 5. And in this case, that would mean 24 pence. So the red bowl would have 24 pence in it. Okay, our independent activity this morning. I want you to have a look at worksheet 7 in pages 54 to 55 in your workbook. Remember to use bar models. It could really help. And try and use what we've done in the guided practice session this morning. Okay, so press pause now and press play when you're ready to start again. Okay, now then, hopefully you got on okay with the independent task. As a plenary this morning, I've just set you up with the in focus question from the beginning, but I'm going to make it a little trickier. And I want you to just think about what you might need to do. So the present was £16.20. Okay. Think back to this from the beginning of the lesson. If the girl paid 9 times more than the boy, how much did they each pay? Now this sounds really tricky, but if you use bar modelling, it's not. What do we need to remember? Press pause when you're thinking about it and press play when you're ready to hear us talk about it. Okay, so this sounded a really tricky question. The girl paid 9 times more than the boy. How much did they each pay? Well, if I wanted to set this up as a bar model, then the little girl would have on the bars would be 9 bars, but the little boy would have 1 as well on him. So if I added up the total number of bars that we had in our bar model, there would be 10. So what we need to do, okay, what we need to do is think, right, I've got £16.20 is the total cost of the present. I need to divide that by 10. Okay, now we've done that before with our decimal numbers. So £16.20 divided by 10, we move the number 1 place to the right, will mean that each of us, or each part of the bar model, is worth £1.62. Okay, so the boy would have paid £1.62, the girl would have paid 9 lots of that. Now the important thing to remember with this, it's your bar model. There would be 9 parts and 1 part, which would be 10 parts in total. That's the important part. Okay? Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.